Hello, everyone!
We kick things off with our hero, who is confronted by a cute and curvy girl. He says that he is from the current village and has reincarnated here to pay a debt from his previous life. The curvy babe doesn't seem to get his intentions, and then our hero says that his hands will be more than enough to get the job done. We soon realize that by this, he means he is going to fight the cute girl, whose name seems to be Lakshul, also known as Laka. She is confused by what our hero is saying, especially when he says he won't need any weapons to complete his task. Anyway, since the boy has decided to show off his strength, she decides to take him on as her opponent and test the power of his fists. This kicks off an intense battle, and the girl charges at him with all her might. It looks like things are going to get interesting, but our hero wins the match simply by using a trick that rips the girl's clothes. The true winners here are his intrusive thoughts. But it's time to go to another scene to get some context. We see our hero in the middle of a void space, and he wonders where he has reached. Suddenly, he hears a voice asking him if he's finally awake. Naturally, this scares him, but when he turns around to see who it is, he is shocked to find a cute and curvy girl who is prettier than anyone he has ever seen. She has an hourglass figure, shiny silk hair, and the beauty of something made from CGI. He is led to believe that this babe is a goddess from Greek mythology, and that's when she confirms that she is indeed a cute goddess. Our hero worries that he has spoken out loud because he doesn't want the goddess to hear his intrusive thoughts. However, she says that boys like him always have the same look on their faces whenever they see her in front of them. The point is that she can read his thoughts, so there's not much our hero can do about it. The goddess takes it a bit too far when she reveals that he has lost his life and is now in front of her. It turns out that his way of leaving his past life was foolish and pathetic, so it takes a lot of skill for her to be able to read the mind of a fool like him. Of course, our hero doesn't like to hear such things, even if they are coming from the mouth of a goddess. However, he also realizes that she's just told him that he has lost his life. As expected, he wants to know more about it, but the goddess only repeats herself by saying his way of going was foolish and pathetic. This isn't helping his case, but he is at the mercy of the curvy goddess, so he wonders what could have led to an untimely demise. He recalls playing a game known as Crossout Saber, which is meant to be enjoyed only by adults. We learn that it is a VR game where our hero likes to fight the boss character, whose name is Laka, just as we had seen earlier. He seemed to like Laka so much that he would keep fighting her to hone his skills. However, it looks like he stepped out of the playing zone, which means he went from virtual reality to actual reality. As a result of him letting his intrusive thoughts take over, our hero banged his head against the wall, and that's what led to his ultimate farewell. The goddess seems to be having fun while saying this because she wants to tell him the state of his body when he passed away. Basically, since he was about to do unspeakable things to Laka, our hero did not go in a decent way and left the backside of his body exposed for everyone to see. It was very hilarious to the goddess, but it turns out that even our hero's parents couldn't stop laughing when they saw his body in such a state. As a matter of fact, even his relatives found it hard to hold back their laughter at his funeral. As expected, this is rather embarrassing for our hero, but there's nothing he can do as the damage has already been done. He falls to the ground and says that he has brought great dishonor to his life, but the goddess is cheerful and tells him that it doesn't matter since he is not alive in that world anymore. He wishes to pass away again, but the goddess only continues to mock him with a cute face. Anyway, she's done with playing around, so she finally reveals her name to be Ina, who is the boss of this heavenly place. It is her job to send miserable people like our hero to a much better place. But her tone clearly suggests that she does not think too highly of him. Ina is not as bad as she seems though, because she offers to reincarnate our hero into another world. What's even better is that this world will be the same one that exists in the VR game that he loves to play so much. He can't believe what he's hearing, so he asks if the goddess is referring to Crossout Saber, and she confirms, much to his delight. Ina also says that he will be given some benefits to an extent so that he can survive there. Our hero realizes that there is only one skill that he needs if he is being reincarnated into this world, so he asks the goddess to give him the power of taming. Ina doesn't seem to have a problem with this, and she says that the tame skill is actually the core of the game itself. This is because taming anyone would mean making them obey your every command while also being happy about it. It's very rare as well, but Ina is a goddess, so she can do whatever she wants. With that, she grants our hero the taming skill, and he becomes determined to live the life he has always wanted to. Now, we finally learn that our hero's name is Wayne, and he finds himself in a rather odd situation. Ina throws herself into his arms and calls him Mr. Reincarnated Soul for some reason. She also says that she's here to see him as she had promised earlier. But Wayne has no recollection of this. Our hero can only call Ina by her name, but even this gets the goddess excited, and she holds on to Wayne as if he is her lover boy. Ina says that she had promised to meet him after he'd grow up a bit, and now that she's here, she wants him to violate her curvy body. This is like a dream come true for Wayne, but as expected, it only turns out to be a dream that shall remain a dream. Our hero wakes up in bed and realizes that he was only having a fantasy about Ina. Now, we learn about what happened to Wayne after he was reincarnated into a new fantasy world. He was given the cheat ability to tame whoever he wanted, but once he was born, he was thrown into a dungeon. This doesn't make sense, because Ina had told him that he was supposed to enjoy his life here. This is how the case was for 18 years, where Wayne could not step outside, even if he wanted to. Now that he's become an adult, he can finally explore the VR game of Crossout Saber in real life. He is really curious to know what life is outside the dungeon because in his previous world, he had willingly kept himself inside his room so that he could play shady games. Now, it makes sense as to why his parents were laughing at his demise. Since he has been forcefully kept inside a dungeon in this world, he really wants to know what kind of fate awaits him outside. So far, all he knows is the name of his village and the fact that both his parents have been exiled in this world. There's also the fact that the villain diviner who had imprisoned Wayne has now gone missing without any trace of his location. It's very unlikely for our hero to escape his prison, so he tries to push the door open, but it's of no use. This is where Wayne realizes that he should have asked for superhuman strength rather than anything else, because with that, he would have been able to break free long ago. It turns out that he has been pushing these walls each and every day for as long as he can remember, but none of those efforts have borne any fruit. All Wayne can do is curse his own foolishness, and he wonders what happened to Ina. The goddess was supposed to help our hero escape the dungeon, but given the fact that she's only cute and curvy, it could be possible that she had forgotten about her promise within 10 minutes. Wayne realizes that Ina is a useless goddess, so there's no point counting on her. Instead, he decides to do some muscle training because it has been giving him experience points to a decent extent. However, before he can do anything else, the ground shakes violently and our hero wonders what's going on. It looks like he's experiencing an earthquake. And then the doors to his room suddenly open up due to the friction. After a hectic sequence, Wayne can see his freedom, which is only a few steps away. He does take a moment to think if this is a trap or something, but it's highly unlikely for that to be the case. After all, the villagers could have taken his life easily if they wanted to, so there would be no point in setting a trap for it. Our hero doesn't know what has led to this situation, but he's not going to let a chance like this slip by, so he quickly makes an exit from his room and steps out into this fantasy world. As he gets out of the dungeon, he can see a cute and curvy girl who has a set of demon horns. She seems to be overpowered as she is wreaking havoc everywhere, and she tells the villagers to run away from here as soon as they can if they want her to spare their lives. Wayne realizes that the demon girl must be the cause of the earthquake, but she seems familiar to him from somewhere. He also notices that she is tossing around the villagers as if they are toy soldiers, so this is why he was able to escape with so much ease. It takes him a few moments to finally recognize the demon girl, and she turns out to be none other than Laka. Wayne calls out her name with excitement and gets her attention, but the demon girl doesn't look too happy to see him. Of course, she was the one our hero was fighting right before he met his hilarious end back on Earth, and we learn that she is quite the demon general. As a matter of fact, she is known as the demon general sword dancer, and is the right-hand woman of the demon lord, who is known as Ceres. Laka takes a look at our hero and confirms her identity, but she clearly does not know who he is, so she asks for his name. Wayne gives his name to her, and is pleased to see that she does exist in this world. Now, our hero wonders why he has met Laka after being stuck as a prisoner for so long. It could be fate that a normal villager like him has now come in front of a demon girl who serves the demon lord. He puts his brain to use, and we learn that he has memorized Laka's stats in his head because of how much he likes her. The demon girl is like the first boss you have to fight at the start of a game, and will mostly lose against. This was why Wayne made sure to learn everything he could in order to tame her and make her his slave girl. Of course, his excitement got the better of him, so he ended up passing away in real life before he could pass away in the game. As of now, he looks at the stats bar and learns that there is a massive difference between his powers and hers. If Wayne is to fight Laka right now, then he is most likely going to be ended. Keeping this in mind, he can't fight her fairly, so he has to activate his intrusive thoughts. So, Wayne decides to celebrate his freedom by making Laka his first prey. He then tells the demon girl that he is going to make her pay for what she did to him in his previous life. He says that he doesn't need any weapons because his hands are enough, and now we realize that everything we saw up to this point was a flashback. Laka has no idea what Wayne is talking about, because this is the first time that she is seeing him. However, since he has openly challenged her to a battle and doesn't need any weapons, she is not going to hold back either. Wayne gladly claims that he is her true opponent and gets ready for her first charge. Since our hero knows what Laka's attack pattern is like, he can dodge her with ease. After that, he uses his ultimate shady move and tears off the demon girl's outfit. Suddenly, his stat bar gives him an alert that states Laka is embarrassed and confused at the same time. He has no idea why he is seeing this because back when he used to play the game on Earth, he never received this kind of message. He assumes that he's receiving it because it's his first time using such a shady attack. Our hero clears Laka's confusion by saying he's the one who made her clothes vanish. So the demon girl asks him what's his motive for doing this. He answers her question with a series of unspeakable acts that cause her to finish. This makes the demon girl's EP reach 0, which means that our hero has won the battle and Laka is now his friend. His intrusive thoughts have actually helped him defeat an overpowered demon general, so he is quite happy with himself. Since he has Laka at his mercy now, he wants to try something different, so he uses his draining skills to absorb all her powers. Wayne is definitely shady, but he is not entirely evil as he does spare Laka's life. The other villagers now rush to the scene and find our hero next to the defeated demon girl. They rejoice upon seeing this and are happy to see that Wayne was able to defeat such an overpowered enemy. However, our hero doesn't care even after confirming that he was the one to defeat Laka. The village men now start celebrating Wayne as their savior and start to treat him like a hero. However, he never wanted this kind of status in the first place and uses his new demon powers to shoo them away. He tells the village men not to get too carried away, because he did not capture Laka out of the goodness of his heart. The village men are shocked to see that he can use magic now, but that's because he has absorbed the demon girl's powers. Anyway, they don't want to mess around, so they say that they did not want to imprison Wayne for so long. As a matter of fact, they blame it all on the villain diviner who had ordered for our hero to be kept as a prisoner. None of that matters to Wayne anymore, because anyone would be annoyed and angered over such a horrible act. The important thing for him now is that he's free and powerful, so nobody can imprison him anymore. With that, he tells the village people to know their place and stay out of his way. Now, Wayne orders one of the village girls to give him clothes for 2 people, which means that Laka is going to be joining him on his journey. The village men ask him if he is going to be leaving with the demon girl, but Wayne tells them that it's none of their business. He tries to be sarcastic by asking his enemies if they want him to pay for spending time in prison for so long, but they don't want to take their chances with him, so they let him leave as he is free to do whatever he wants. Now, Wayne leaves the village with Laka and decides to give himself a bath in a nearby lake. After washing his body, he finally feels like a human again and is glad to experience something nice for once. We learn that after he left the village, Wayne checked his stats to see how far along he's come, but saw that he could not absorb Laka's additional abilities. Even so, it's a great bonus for him to have demon powers, so Wayne isn't too worried about it. After all, absorbing the abilities of the ones you defeat and making them your own is what the power of taming is truly about. Wayne laments that the 18 years of imprisonment he had at the start was a huge waste of time. But at least he has a demon girl as his slave now, so it's a great start to his new journey. Now, Laka wakes up from her pleasurable defeat and tries to figure out where she is. All she can remember is that she was attacking the human village, so Wayne decides to avoid any kind of conflict here. He wishes her a good morning and says that he's glad to see her finally awake. The demon girl takes a look at Wayne and recalls that she was fighting him before she passed out. He confirms this and also reveals that he absorbed her powers after defeating her. Naturally, this comes as a shock to Laka, but Wayne makes it even worse for her by saying she has to become his slave if she wants to continue in this world. Our hero tells us that after taming a character like Laka, he does not know if she will be able to obey his commands even if she is supposed to be his friend now. However, he is sure that she won't attack him or harm him now. What he wishes to see now is how Laka will answer his proposal, but it's not at all like how he had imagined it would be. The demon girl makes a cute face and calls our hero a gentle boy, which is shocking for him to hear. She says that Wayne could have taken her life after defeating her, but instead of that, he has asked her to become his slave, which she considers to be very generous. Wayne is clearly confused, because he knows he is not a kind person, but at the same time, it's a bit of a relief that Laka has interpreted his actions in this way. It doesn't just end here, as the demon girl starts talking about some odd kind of philosophy. She agrees that she should be mad at Wayne for defeating her and absorbing all her powers. But at the same time, she now has a chance to improve herself since she has to start at level 1 again. She even goes on to say that she has been struck by the whip of love, but Wayne is convinced that she is too positive to be a demon girl. To make matters even more hilarious, Laka offers to become Wayne's slave out of her own free will as she wants him to make her his own. Our hero finds it scary that Laka has given herself up to him so easily, but this is just the start as she approaches him with shady intention. She tells Wayne that she does not have any experience, but she is ready to put in her best efforts to offer pleasure to her new master. The demon girl says that Wayne can do whatever he wants to her, and it makes his intrusive thoughts run crazy. However, before he can switch to demon mode and act on his shady intentions, Wayne is left high and dry by his slave girl as she remembers something very important. She says that she is in a tricky spot, so Wayne should get out of the lake and listen to her quickly. Our hero has no other option but to do as she says, and he comments that she is a useless girl in a lot of ways. He wants to know what has happened, so Locke says that she has to go back to her master, who is the demon lord Xeris. Basically, she has to explain everything that has happened so far, and we learn that Xeris is actually a girl. It might be that she has assumed Locke to have passed away and is planning revenge right now. This is why the demon girl has to go back to her master in order to calm her down and stop her from destroying every town in the world. Wayne realizes that it's important for Locke to go meet Xeris even though he is her new master. However, he is a bit shocked to learn that the demon lord of this fantasy world is a woman. On top of that, Locke says that Xeris is a polite and sweet girl as well. This does not make any sense for a demon lord, but Locke maintains that Xeris is a polite woman even though people call her a scary emperor. Wayne sees some truth in what his slave girl is telling him, and now he realizes why Xeris is a girl, since he is living in a world that is set in the VR game he was playing. It will also have the same emperors and demon lords. Since Crossout Saber is a game for adults, it's only natural for it to be filled with cute and curvy girls everywhere, even as the villains. The reason for this is to allow him to do shady things to them for getting in his way. Wayne has figured out what he needs to do, so he tells Locke that he will go with her to meet Xeris. However, he is mindful of the fact that he might have to fight the demon lord if things don't go well between them. Locke doesn't seem to have a problem with that, but our hero feels a bit nervous even though he had easily defeated his slave girl not too long ago. Wayne is now sure that there is something wrong with Locke's head, and he gets further confirmation when she says that she wants her new master to give her old master the same kind of pleasure. With the new mission decided, Wayne takes Locke in his arms and they fly off to the demon lord's castle. Our hero can now spread wings like a bird, and he looks quite graceful while holding his slave girl like an alpha male. Soon enough, Locke can spot the castle, so she tells Wayne about it. Our hero takes one look at the castle and can sense something odd. After all, it's in the middle of the mountains and has giant walls all around it. This actually looks more like a fortress than a castle, so Wayne really wants to explore it now. Locke explains to him that they should lower their altitude because if a demon from the castle spots them, then it will be difficult to explain why they're here. The couple lands on the ground and they make their way forward. Wayne realizes that Locke is not wearing the battle armor that she had on while attacking the village, so he asks her if she is fine wearing commoner clothes. The slave girl seems to be fine with it since everyone will recognize her even if she is wearing different clothes. What's more important is the moment she and Wayne will enter the castle, because she wants her new master to behave a certain way. As expected, our hero is 2 steps ahead of her and says that he will have to act as if he is her slave. This makes the demon girl blush because she is supposed to be Wayne's slave, but is making him behave that way. Our hero has no issues with it, but Locke can't let such an atrocity slide. She says that she is ready to accept any kind of punishment from Wayne once they are done dealing with Xeris. Wayne isn't too keen on punishing his slave girl, but it looks like she wants to be treated like a bad girl. It leads to our hero having a hilarious look on his face. So he tries to prevent his intrusive thoughts from taking over and asks Locke to lead the way for now. A demon girl behaving this way is extremely strange, so Wayne wonders if he has shifted her gears out of place after giving her such intense pleasure. After all, Locke was an innocent demon girl before Wayne unleashed his shady moves on her. She didn't even have this kind of personality in the VR game, so something is clearly different. Anyway, Locke seems to be a loyal and faithful slave girl, so Wayne feels that he will get along with her just fine. Now, someone calls out to Locke and it turns out to be a slime girl named Slana. The slave girl is glad to see Slana and she explains that she and her new master are on the way to see the demon lord. But Wayne wonders what a slime girl's body feels like. He goes on to perform unspeakable acts on Slana and learns that she can transform her body freely, which means that the sensitivity of her nerves are linked and can be felt throughout her slimy body. Our hero calls out Slana for having a shady body, so she starts crying about it, even though he meant it in a good way. Of course, Wayne figures that he could have worded his sentence a bit better because he thinks the slime girl's body is perfect. He did not want to hurt her feelings, so he asks Slana if she would like to come with him and be his experiment. He offers her a reward, which is to fill her slimy body with his own slime. Slana starts to cozy up to Wayne, but Locke has other ideas in mind. She tells Slana that she wants her to protect the outer part of the castle since there is no need to worry about the defense over here. The slime girl is a bit confused to hear Locke talk like this, but the slave girl is clearly jealous of the attention Wayne is giving her. Slana says that she is the gatekeeper, so guarding the outside area doesn't make sense to her. However, Locke says that she doesn't want Slana to rub her slimy body all over her master because that's not what her job is supposed to be. The slave girl is clearly upset over the slime girl sticking so close to Wayne, so she activates demon mode and tells Slana to get out her sight as soon as possible. Slana starts to cry again over this behavior, but in a cute way, so Locke sends her off, much to Wayne's dismay. After all, he wanted to explore the slime girl's body in great detail with his shady intentions. Our hero asks his slave girl why she acted in such a way, but she simply hugs him from behind and holds him close to her curvy body. She says sorry for not noticing how his intrusive thoughts were taking over, and she wants to help him relieve his body. With that, she puts her hand where every man would want it and proceeds to offer some heaven on earth. Locke asks Wayne not to move because she wants her master to experience full relief. Our hero isn't sure of what to do in this situation, but then he hears a loud roar coming from the skies. It turns out to be an army of dragons that are flying right above the couple. That's when Wayne comes back to his senses and tells Locke not to do anything shady in front of the dragons. He also tells her that she can hold off on the appetizers until the main course is ready to be served. The slave girl obeys her master and then takes him inside the demon lord's castle. It's quite vast and luxurious, so it takes some time for the couple to make their way forward. Locke tells Wayne that it shouldn't be long before they reach the demon lord's throne and she should be awake by now as well. Our hero prepares for the worst, but his slave girl says that she hopes everything ends well between him and Xeris. After all, she is hoping for the demon lord to bless her relationship with her master, since the both of them have been friends since childhood. This fact intrigues Wayne, so Locke tells him that she has been serving Xeris ever since they were little girls. It turns out that Xeris had always wanted to become the demon lord even when she was a child, so Locke made sure to help her achieve this dream. Such a position can only be obtained with true strength, so there were a lot of battles back in the day. This was still when Locke and Xeris were kids, so Wayne shows some sympathy to his slave girl. After all, she did have a rough childhood, so she does deserve some warmth and affection. Their romantic moment comes to an end when they feel a slight tremor, and Wayne wonders where it's coming from. Suddenly, a giant monster with a bald head shows himself and seems glad to see Locke back at the castle. Wayne seems to recognize this monster and even calls him by his name, Giga. Locke tells Giga that she and her master are here to meet the demon lord, so he should not get in their way. However, the bald monster has no intention of letting this slide so easily, and he says that he is going to take over her position as the right-hand woman of Xeris. Basically, Giga is jealous of Locke and wants to defeat her, so he tries to attack the demon girl. Locke does not want her master to be a part of her quarrel, so she asks Wayne to step back. Locke is ready to take Giga on as her opponent, but our hero simply laments the fact that there are still disputes over positions in this castle, even after all the wars that had to be fought for the throne. Giga launches a wind attack on Locke and she is blown away because Wayne has absorbed all her powers. Realizing this, our hero figures that his slave girl won't be able to keep up with the bald monster. He rushes towards Locke and rescues her from getting whacked by the wind attack. He holds her in his arms and it leads to a romantic moment as Wayne asks Locke if she is alright. Our hero has had enough of these silly games, so he puts Locke on the side and decides to end this fight once and for all. He rushes towards Giga and calls him ugly to provoke the bald monster. Giga warns Wayne not to interfere with him because this fight is between him and Locke. However, our hero doesn't have time to play with him, so he goes straight for the head and flicks the bald monster to his defeat. It's a rather surprising attack that gets the job done in a single second, so Wayne can now tend to Locke once again. It's clear that Giga won't be able to get up again, so the bald monster won't be challenging anyone for any position soon. Locke is so taken over by her master's bravery that she hugs him and proclaims her love for him in the most extreme fashion. Wayne simply says that he was just trying to test his powers, but his slave girl wants to live out the fantasy of her master saving her life. She says that she's grateful to serve such a wonderful man, and she is the luckiest girl in the world. She then goes off saying she wants Xeris to experience this happiness as well. However, our hero is well aware of who he is, because he had used Locke's powers to defeat Giga in the first place. Now that all the dangers and obstacles have been cleared, it's finally time to go meet the demon lord. Locke shows her master the door to Xeris' throne, so he walks through it with her. Locke happily greets the demon lord and apologizes for making her worry about her absence. We see Xeris, but she is shown to be a small demon girl who looks cute rather than dangerous. She is pleased to see her friend safe and sound, but is also shocked to see Wayne with her. Xeris asks Locke what's the meaning of this, but our hero is more focused on the fact that he has to overcome her to attain the power of a demon lord. Locke asks her master if he finds Xeris to be cute and he confirms that he does like the way she looks. The slave girl continues to talk about how Xeris is cute and powerful, but not too curvy. Even then, Locke believes that Xeris is the only one fit to be the demon lord, but she gets cut off by Xeris, who looks rather annoyed. She wants to know what happened to the village that Locke was supposed to take care of. and more importantly, she can't feel the demon girl's powers anymore. On the other hand, she can feel an absurd amount of power coming from Wayne, so Zeres is a bit suspicious of what's going on over here. Wayne figures he's been found out, so he tells Locke there's no point in hiding the truth anymore. The slave girl is a bit reluctant to play along, but Zeres wants to know exactly what our hero has done to her best friend. She threatens Wayne to give her an honest answer, and she will decide how much mercy to show him once she hears the truth. Before she can do anything to our hero, Zeres is stopped by Locke, who says that she will explain the whole thing to her. The slave girl then hilariously goes on to say that she has chosen to become Wayne's personal property. As expected, this makes Zeres show a confused face, and even our hero doesn't know how to react to this. To explain the situation better, Locke reveals that she had fought against Wayne, but lost to him rather easily. However, she also adds the fact that he took off all her clothes and did unspeakable things to her curvy body. This only makes matters worse, as Zeres has no words to explain how she's feeling after this. This is not the end just yet, because the slave girl continues her speech by saying her master showed her what true heaven feels like, and absorbed all her powers after that. She adds that Wayne chose not to take her life and offered to make her his follower, which is why she has given her body to him and has become his slave girl. There is an awkward silence after all these revelations, and Wayne has nowhere left to go. He knows that Locke has spoken the truth, so he acts cool and casual for now. Zeres asks him to confirm his name again, and then she asks him to listen to one of her requests. As expected, the request is for Wayne to allow himself to be ended by the Demon Lord as she launches an ultimate attack on him. Our hero is able to dodge the attack with ease, but he's not going to be let off so easily. Zeres is not at all pleased with what she has just heard, and she believes that Wayne is just a creep who has violated Locke's precious body. It is not wrong of her to think of such a thing, because our hero is quite proud of his actions. The Demon Lord promises to use her lightning powers to burn him to a crisp, and an intense battle gets underway. Wayne picks up Locke and takes her to safety, but also asks her why a small girl like Zeres is being so crazy with her powers. The slave girl has no idea why her old master is being this way, because she only knows her as a sweet, cute girl. Clearly, this was not the correct assessment of her character, and now Wayne has to take care of the Demon Lord. Locke insists that there must be some kind of misunderstanding, so she asks her master to allow one more chance for her to explain everything to Zeres. Our hero doesn't have time to take such a risk because his slave girl has already explained the whole situation to the Demon Lord, and that too in great detail. Zeres is angry, but she still looks cute thanks to her petite body, so Locke asks her once more to stop with her attacks. The slave girl repeats that she was not violated by her master, but rather received a love that she has never received before. Zeres is not going to listen to any more stories of love, so she tells Locke to stop with her nonsense. The Demon Lord is ashamed to see how her right-hand woman allowed her flower to be plucked by a commoner boy, so Locke tries to apologize for her actions. However, she also says that she was not able to resist the charm that Wayne brought with him, coupled with the kindness he showed by sparing her life. Basically, it looks like Zeres is not going to understand anything even if Locke tried her best to do so. The Demon Lord is fine with that, and she is ready to blast Wayne to pieces in order to wake up Locke from her trance. The slave girl worries for her master, but our hero doesn't care about Zeres and her threats. He asks Locke to stay behind for now, because he was always planning to fight the Demon Lord right from the start. The slave girl wants to know how Wayne is going to win against the Demon Lord, and he simply says that he will do the same thing to Zeres as he had done to Locke. She seems to be fine with that. And then the encounter begins. Wayne knows that he won't be able to launch a frontal attack by using Locke's powers, because Zeres will be able to counter him. He needs to find a way to use his taming skills, so he gets to work and forms a plan in his head. The Demon Lord calls out to Wayne and says that it's too late for him to come up with any sort of strategy. Suddenly, there are spider webs all over the place, and Wayne becomes a bit confused upon seeing this. That's when Locke explains that these are actually threads which Zeres had inherited from the thread demon Alkin through his blood. This is a cause for concern, because our hero knows how useful this skill is. Zeres can sense her victory coming soon, and she challenges Wayne to take her on instead of just standing there. However, Wayne doesn't want to act on impulse, so he confirms with Locke that Alkin is a hybrid monster who's half man and half spider. Since Alkin can produce threads through his fingers, even the Demon Lord will have the same ability. But Wayne has some other thoughts in his head. They have to do with the way he used to play the game back on Earth, and he wonders how he should handle a demi-human based on his experience. His slave girl doesn't know why he's zoning out this way, so she asks if he's alright. Luckily, there's nothing to worry about as our hero says that he is going to refer to Zeres as Spider Girl from now on. Locke is fine with that name, but she feels like her master is only doing all of this to make Zeres even angrier, which is definitely what's happening from the looks of it. The Demon Lord launches another finisher move on Wayne and curses him for trying to make fun of her lineage. Our hero dodges the attack with ease, but his slave girl asks him to be more careful moving forward. She explains that Zeres likes to use 3 kinds of threads when she is in battle mode. There's sticky threads, decapitation threads, and hard threads, so Wayne has some variety to deal with. His feet are caught in some kind of thread already, and the Demon Lord uses it to smack him to the ground. Laka is worried for her master, but Wayne is only slightly upset because he could feel a little pain. Zeres is pleased with her attack, and now she feels that she has the advantage. Wayne tries to cut off the thread with Laka's sword, but even that doesn't seem to work. He finds himself in quite a spot and Zeres tells him that she will not take his life so easily. The Demon Lord wishes to torment our hero till he meets his end, which is a savage way to deal with him. Of course, it's not like Wayne cares about what she has to say, so he asks his slave girl to lend him her sword for a bit. He then asks her to step away for a bit because he is about to use a power move. Our hero unleashes the enchanted airstrike and manages to get rid of the thread attached to his leg. Naturally, this shocks Zeres, who can't believe that someone has been able to destroy her hard thread with such ease. Wayne explains to us that the Spider Girl's thread has elements of the earth in it, which was why he decided to counter it with a wind element spell. After all, he simply utilized a type weakness. But there's no time to discuss such things because he still needs to defeat the Demon Lord. He mocks her by stating she won't be able to torment him now, and he's an impatient man anyway, so he's going to end this quickly. Zeres is not going to go down without a fight, so she unleashes a lightning strike, but it's of no use. Wayne uses a cyclone counter and hops to the top while also teasing the Demon Lord, calling her slow. Now, Wayne unleashes his demon wings and charges at Zeres with his arrow strike. He proudly proclaims this to be his victory and attacks the Demon Lord with his taming move. It's a direct hit, and after the dust settles, we can see that our hero has done to Zeres what he had done to Laka as well. The Demon Lord takes a moment to figure out what just hit her, because she hasn't seen a move like this ever before in her life. Of course, she realizes that her outfit has been ripped off, so she becomes angry and it shows on her stats bar. Zeres screams at Wayne with rage and calls him out for trying to violate her just like Laka. She states that she will never forgive him for this and will make sure that he will meet his end. Wayne simply looks at her with a smile on his face and says that she should calm down for now. After all, the real fun is just about to begin. Before he can have his fun, our hero decides to give us a quick recap on how things have gone so far. Basically, it all started when he met with a funny accident while playing a shady VR game for adults. After that, the goddess Ina helped him get a second chance at life by reincarnating him into the world of the very same VR game he liked. He was imprisoned for around 18 years and managed to break free thanks to an attack by the demon girl Laka. He ended up defeating her with a taming skill that he got from Ina. This turned Laka into his slave girl, and then she guided him to the current demon lord of this fantasy world, known as Zeres, who is nothing more than a cute girl. He ends up fighting her and wins the match without really breaking a sweat. Now that we're all caught up, it's time to go back to the present where Wayne is planning how to act out his intrusive thoughts. We are shown a quick glimpse of all the main characters and their stat bars, after which we see Zeres still trying to threaten Wayne. She continues to say that she will end his life, but our hero simply asks her to calm down for a bit. He takes a look at his stats bar and notices that Zeres is now at the highest level of rage. This is not exactly good news for Wayne because the Demon Lord gets a higher attack power when she is angrier. He does get some leeway though, as this also means that her other stats get lower during this time. Zeres has had enough of the humiliation, so she charges at our hero after activating her Demon Rage mode. She has a scary face as she asks Wayne if he has any last words, but he is not concerned by any of this. Zeres tries a punch, but misses because her accuracy and evasion skills have dropped due to her rage. Wayne takes advantage of this and tells the Demon Lord that she will never be able to defeat him now. This only angers her further, but then Wayne spanks her and can see that his technique has worked like a charm. He just needed one touch to get the job done, so he knows he's going to have some fun now. Of course, Zeres is still angry, so she keeps challenging Wayne and orders him to be ended as soon as possible. Wayne can only look at her with a confused face, and then he decides to give her a taste of her own medicine. He grabs the cute Demon Lord and states that she has been quite rude to him this entire time. He calls her a bad girl, which means that she should be punished for her actions. Zeres is not backing down just yet, so she tries to punch Wayne at close range, but doesn't do much damage. She just looks like a cute toy at this point, but our hero does admit that she still has a little power left in her even though he just drained most of it with his spank. The Demon Lord does not like the fact that she is being treated this way, but Wayne decides to give her an even harsher punishment now. He begins to spank her in hilarious fashion, and it's quite the sight as he says that he will now teach the naughty Demon Lord the spank of love. He is not going to stop anytime soon because he's clearly enjoying this as well. It's rather disgraceful for Zeres to be treated this way. even though she is the demon lord, and Wayne agrees that he's basically just experimenting with the spanking. However, our hero notices that Zeres seems to like what he's doing to her, so he now knows her deep, dark secret. He tells the demon lord that if she wants him to stop, then she will have to say something out loud, so she asks him what it is. He teases her by stating that she will need to beg him to stop in cute fashion. But this does not have the kind of effect he was hoping for. Zeres screams at our hero and ridicules him for even considering the fact that she would stoop so low. She declares that she will never do such a thing to the likes of a common man like Wayne. Even it means having to forsake her own life. None of her words affect our hero, and he only comments that she is a hopeless demon lord with no sense of manners. He now has a much better idea on how to deal with Zeres, but she thinks it will be a worthless effort. She demands him to put her down right this instant, but he says that he would have done it anyway and not because she is telling him to. He uses the demon lord's own threads against her and notices that his shady technique has been boosted by it. At the same time, Zeres continues to say that she is going to take Wayne's life because he is a lowly human. Wayne has had enough of fooling around, so he uses his ultimate finisher move and then he checks his stats bar. He sees the same statements that he had seen when he satisfied Locke, and the stats bar shows that Zeres has now become his friend since her EP is now 0. Our hero tells us that he now considers his life to be worthwhile even though he was treated as a prisoner for the first 18 years. Now that he has finally seized the demon lord, he has truly become an ultimate hero in this fantasy world. In the middle of his thoughts, Locke calls out to Zeres and checks up on her. The demon lord is not waking up, so Wayne wonders if he overdid it and gave her too much to enjoy. Luckily, Zeres is still alive and Locke hugs her with joy because what she saw was truly amazing from her master. With the demon lord also in his harem, he has now moved on from 1 to 2 slave girls, which makes Locke oddly happy. Wayne once again comments on how odd Locke is as a demon girl, especially when she says that if she and Zeres leave the demon army, then the both of them can still be his slave girls. None of this makes any sense to him, so he just pretends not to have heard what she said. Zeres is basically resting now, so it's time for Wayne to use his draining powers on her as well. He unleashes his ultimate attack and gains the power of the demon lord. His body glows with a new energy and he realizes how amazing Zeres truly is, even though she could not match up to him. Wayne rejoices over the fact that he now has the power of the demon lord, and he will make much better use of it than Zeres ever could. Locke is also happy for her master even though he just drained her best friend's powers as if they were nothing. He feels charged up, so he lifts Locke into his arms and declares that no one will be able to get in his way now. As expected, his slave girl congratulates him and says that she will follow him all the way for the rest of her life. The couple is happily enjoying the moment, but then we see that Zeres has woken up from her defeat. She calls out to them and says that she can't use her powers anymore. Wayne is surprised to see her awake so soon, and the demon girl admits that she never knew a human like him could absorb her ultimate powers with so much ease. Wayne acts cool as a cucumber and tells her that the system works this way with him. He also tells her that she is his slave girl now, so she better get used to following orders. He mocks Zeres and says that she won't be able to do what she wants anymore. At the very least, she won't be able to attack him anymore since she is now his slave girl. Zeres has to come to terms with reality, because her body is not responding to her, but she still can't understand why this is happening. That's when Locke hugs her and says that she has fallen in love with her new master just like her. Of course, the demon girl does not want to admit this, but it's the truth. Zeres is angry, so she asks Locke why she allowed herself to become the slave of a shady boy with intrusive thoughts running all over his veins. Locke simply says that there's something more important than pride, and it's known as love. Of course, these are just her own intrusive thoughts coming to life, and she says that it's wonderful for her to feel such a thing for the first time. Zeres is totally dumbfounded. And even Wayne doesn't recall telling his slave girl anything about love. How is our hero going to make use of his new ultimate powers? Is he going to enjoy shady acts with both Locke and Zeres now? Like, share, and subscribe to find out in the next video. Hit the bell icon to get notified when I upload. Now that our hero has managed to conquer 2 slave girls, he is on top of the world. However, Zeres wants her powers back, so she demands her new master to transfer her skills. She feels that if Wayne could absorb her powers, then he can give it back as well, but that is not the case. Our hero tells his new slave girl that he can't give the powers away, but he can freely allocate them amongst his slave girls. Basically, this means that he can choose the girl who deserves to get the right skills as per his free will. Hence, Wayne can create the perfect waifu, which is the ultimate fantasy for every boy in the world. In the middle of this, Locke is just making cute love symbols with her hand because her intrusive thoughts are at a completely different level. On top of all that Zeres is saying, the most important thing for Wayne is that he doesn't want to give her any powers because she's better off being a flat slave girl. This clearly makes her angry, and she tells her master that demonic beings will only obey those with power. Since she was the one controlling the demon army of this kingdom, they will only obey her and no one else. However, now that she has lost her powers, there is a strong chance that all the demons will stop listening to her and start a rampage of their own, which is bad news for everyone. This could lead to the loss of thousands of innocent human lives. So Zeres tries to appeal to our hero's heart by saying he should care for the people of this fantasy world. However, Wayne simply says that he doesn't care about what may happen to anyone else out there, which comes as a massive shock to the demon girl. Now, he explains how he was trapped for 18 years as a prisoner locked up in his own village. He never had a moment of peace ever since he was born, so he doesn't need to make any sacrifices for people he doesn't know. As a matter of fact, our hero has become so numb to emotions that even the hatred he had for these humans has faded away. This means that he does not feel any emotion at all, so he has no desire to protect anyone apart from himself and his slave girls. At the same time, our hero does admit that he would have remained a prisoner in his village if Laka had not attacked it. So, he does feel thankful towards Zeres for ordering Laka to destroy his hometown. The demon girl tries to make use of this situation to demand her powers again. But at this point, she just sounds like a broken tape recorder. Of course, Wayne says that such matters should not be mixed with each other, and then he smiles at Zeres, who still seems to have a problem with her new master. Laka takes this chance to hug her master and says that she will always remain by his side, no matter what. It's a cute gesture, but Zeres doesn't like it, so she tells Laka that a demon girl like her should not behave this way. However, she says that she considers herself to be Wayne's loyal slave girl first and a demon girl second. Zeres asks her to rethink her choice, and even our hero wonders what's gotten around Laka. It's a good thing that she's very loyal to her master, but at the same time, such blind faith can come across as odd. At this point, Laka is like a dog in love, so Zeres asks her to take a look into Wayne's eyes. Of course, this is not to praise him, but rather to say that his eyes look like the bottom of a muddy swamp. It's a strange but creative insult, so Wayne makes a face while Laka rebukes Zeres for behaving so impolitely. Our hero decides to make use of this situation, so he acts sad and tells Laka that Zeres has hurt him deeply by saying such mean things. He claims that he won't be able to recover from such pain, so he wants his slave girl to soothe his feelings. Zeres can't believe what she's hearing, but Laka does, so she rushes to her master in an instant. She then offers her twin peaks as soft cushions, and our hero gladly accepts her offer. He enjoys the cozy pillows of heaven offered by a demon girl, and Laka continues to comfort her master like a good slave. Of course, Zeres is not enjoying this one bit, so she orders Laka to stop with this behavior. She doesn't want her to keep spoiling our hero, but it's too late for that. Wayne asks his demon slave if she also wants to be spoiled. But then Laka reveals that she'd been giving Zeres the lap pillow treatment before she met her new master. She asks Zeres to become independent now, because she belongs to Wayne and no one else. The demon slave tries to counter this point, but Wayne becomes interested, especially because of what Laka has just said about lap pillows. He asks his slave girl what she means by usual lap pillows, because this implies that she and Zeres do such things on a regular basis. Laka confirms this and says that since she and Zeres are childhood friends, the demon girl can confide in her for anything and everything. As a matter of fact, Laka is the only one that Zeres can talk to openly. This embarrasses the demon girl, so she asks Laka to wait, but it's way too late for that now. Laka goes on to explain that whenever Zeres would find herself in a tough spot, she would bury her face in her lap. On top of this, she would also cry about the problems she would face as a demon emperor, and has even stated that she wishes to quit this job. Laka finds it very cute, as does Wayne, but Zeres is totally embarrassed at this point because her secret has been revealed. She can't stand this embarrassment anymore, so she tries to force Wayne to give her back her powers. Of course, all of this is in vain because our hero has no intention of doing such a thing. The demon girl continues with her efforts, but it's of no use and Wayne keeps telling her that he doesn't want to give her any powers. It's a hilarious display, but then Laka brings up a fair point, which is that her master might find it irritating if tons of demons would keep attacking him. After all, a lawless world is an issue for everyone living in it. Wayne sees sense in what his slave girl is saying, as it would indeed be very annoying if he'd have to run into a rampaging monster at every stop of his journey. He then decides to give Zeres a little bit of power back so that she can control the demons. He asks her if 20% is enough, but she obviously wants all of it. That's obviously not going to happen, so our hero figures he should get this done with. He touches his demon slave's flat peaks and it makes her upset. But he reasons that he needs to touch something if he has to transfer power back to her. That's technically correct, but he doesn't need to go for a particular body part, so Wayne is just being naughty here. He proceeds to give Zeres 20% of her original level, which is 40. Now that the process is completed, Zeres figures she might as well make do with what she's got. While she's at it, our hero also decides to check out his own stats to see how far along he's come. Wayne opens up his stat bar and notices that he's gained skills like lightning, darkness, gravity magic, and auto MP recovery as well. He then comes across a skill known as Mind's Eye, which is something he's never heard of before. Wayne believes he's gotten this skill from Xeris, so he should ask her about it, but then he notices something odd. His shady technique has broken all records and reached a completely new level, which should be impossible, as it was maxed out when he acted on his intrusive thoughts with Laka. Not only is his HP over its max value, it seems as if there has been some kind of change to the rating system. Basically, our hero is now the most overpowered shady man in the world based on his intrusive techniques. This is not all, because Laka is very cheerful about her own skills as she has increased by 30 levels. Wayne is a bit puzzled to hear this because he hasn't done anything shady to her in a while, so there's no reason for Laka to also grow. However, when he checks out her stats, it turns out that she has indeed grown by 30 levels. Our hero is a bit confused, but then his slave girl holds onto his arm and says that the XP he received from defeating Xeris must have also been given to her. Now it all makes sense to Wayne, because this was how it worked in the game as well. The skills of Tame and Drain would work together, so when an enemy would be defeated with Tame, then the fighting players will get the abilities through the Drain skill, and the other team members would get the XP. Laka is happy to gain some strength now, because she can finally be of use to her master as a fighter. She tells him that she can finally prove why she was called the Demon General of Sword Dancing before she met him. At the same time, Laka also asks Wayne to watch over her, and then we see some sunlight shining through the roof. Wayne is a bit confused to see this because the ceiling did not take any damage during his fight with Xeris. That's when Xeris states that they have a visitor, and it turns out to be none other than Ina. She tells our hero that it's been a long time since they last met, and even cutely calls out to him saying that she is finally here to see him. Of course, Wayne can only look at her as the goddess who reincarnated him into this world. Ina comments on how manly our hero has become, but he is upset with the goddess and calls her out for being late. After all, she was supposed to help him when he was being held as a prisoner, but she is only coming to see him now. Ina is a bit confused and doesn't know why she's being shouted at, even though it's very obvious. Anyway, the goddess hugs Wayne and covers his face with her own twin peaks, so he is now covered in heaven from an actual angel. Ina is happy to see that Wayne is all grown up now, because she was expecting to find him at 8 years of age. None of this makes any sense to our hero, so he asks the goddess if she actually knows how to do her job. She goes on to explain that time passes by rather quickly for her since she's been alive forever. Ina believes this was nothing more than an unfortunate accident, but Wayne is not too relieved to hear that. He goes on to say that he has turned 18 today and is now an overpowered slave master. This is good news for Ina, because 18 years of age is very convenient for her and her shady intentions. She hugs our hero and even calls him Wayne-sama, after which she asks if they should pick up from where they left off last time. The cute goddess forgets her holy position and tells Wayne that her curvy body throbs all over whenever she thinks about him. But before she can get shadier, Laka spoils the party with her sharp blade. Ina is a bit alarmed by this behavior, but Laka is not just going to stand there and let her lover boy get violated by another girl. She tells Ina that she doesn't know who she is, but what she does know is that her master can only be touched by her and Xeris, so Ina should leave this instant. Of course, the goddess doesn't like her tone, so she tells Laka that she had already gotten a head start with Wayne a long time ago. She also tries to flex the fact that she is a goddess, but uses Xeris as a shield, so the demon girl calls her out on it. Ina goes on to say that she was the one who reincarnated Wayne into this world. And top of that, she is the one who has blessed him with his shady technique. The goddess further states that she knew Wayne from the very beginning, and they did some shady things of their own back in the day. However, they were not able to take their intrusive thoughts right till the end at that time. Now that Ina has made her point, she decides to stake her claim, but before she can even complete her sentence, she is attacked by Xeris, who unleashes a lightning bolt. Even Laka uses her demon blade to slice the goddess with all her might, and the slave girls show no mercy at all. Our hero can only watch on in shock and awe as Ina is blasted in hilarious fashion. Laka can't believe the fact that her lover boy was violated by a goddess before her, and she claims not to leave even a trace of Ina. Xeris, on the other hand, is upset with Ina because she is the one who has brought Wayne into this world. Our hero figures he needs to calm his slave girls down, so he tells Laka this is the Ina that he had told her about earlier. However, she does not recall hearing such a name and gives him a demonic look. Xeris continues to call out to Ina with rage because she knows the goddess must have easily survived their attacks. She boldly states that she will capture Ina alive and torture her for as long as she needs to make her go mad. Suddenly, a heavenly voice asks the three of them if they can hear her, which means that Ina is still alive and well. Wayne is glad to hear this, and he breathes a sigh of relief, but that is not the case for Locke and Zeres. The demon girl doesn't like the fact that Ina is trying to run away, so she tells the goddess to come back. After all, she wants to make her pay for making her meet Wayne, who has only humiliated her so far. As expected, Ina has no intention of doing so because she finds both the slave girls scary. Locke is also in demon mode now, and she mocks the goddess for being frank. However, our hero is not here to waste any time, so he uses his brain and tells Ina that it feels like he's receiving some kind of divine message. With nothing else to do, he asks the goddess to give him a task, which comes across as a surprise to her. Wayne further explains to her that he really doesn't know what else to do in this fantasy world. He doesn't have any direction, especially after taming Zeres, who is supposed to be a big shot over here. This offends her, but Wayne doesn't care about that, and he tells his cute goddess to give him some purpose. Ina gives it some thought and tells him that when people are reincarnated, they usually like to make a statement by going to a popular school. This makes our hero interested because even though he doesn't like the idea of school by itself, he feels that it might be fun if the classes are based around combat. Zeres is confused upon hearing this, because if we were to consider Wayne right now, then he is too powerful to learn anything at a school. However, our hero counters his demon slave by saying he wants to go to school because of this exact reason. He wants to enter a school and enjoy the feeling of dominance over everyone else over there. After all, he will simply ace all his classes while all the other students will look at him with envy and jealousy. Zeres is not on board with this kind of idea because it's not the best use of Wayne's powers. However, Locke loves this idea as she wants to see her master attract attention and draw in as many people as possible. This way, he will be able to build a large network and almost become like a king in the school. She hugs her master and says that he's amazing for being able to think so far ahead into the future. Of course, this was not what our hero had in mind, and he laments that Locke interprets everything he does in a way that makes him look good. He is obviously thankful to her for it, but Zeres continues to be a stubborn brat. All of this is fine, but Wayne has one more question for Ina. He tells her that his limit for shady techniques has gone over the maximum limit that was given to him at first. He has no idea why this has happened, so he wonders if the cute goddess would have an answer for him. She explains that he was able to go over the limit because he has leveled up to a certain point. Basically, if he can continue increasing his level, then he will also unlock events which were not known to him before. Now that Wayne knows why his intrusive powers have increased, he feels that going to school will become even more exciting for him. This is because he's sure that he'll be able to increase his powers upon meeting more people. Locke continues to hold onto his arm with blind love, and then Ina explains that the top school of this fantasy world is the Siphon Royal Academy, which is southeast from here. Ina says that she would like to join her lover boy on this journey as well, but Locke issues her another threat by saying she will turn the goddess girl into rust the moment her demon blade is unleashed. Ina becomes a bit cautious after hearing this, but it doesn't hinder her one bit. Now, Wayne declares that the next adventure is the Siphon Royal Academy, and Locke happily states that she and Zeres will follow him wherever he goes, even if the demon slave doesn't look too thrilled about it. Some time passes by, but soon enough, the team reaches Siphon and Locke is thrilled to see how nice the city. There are people and shops everywhere, which means that it's a very lively town. While Locke admires the pretty plants and flowers on display, Wayne realizes that this place looks exactly like how he had seen it before. His slave girl asks him if he has been here earlier, so he explains that Siphon would be the base of operations in the game he used to play back when he was on Earth. It would show up at the very beginning of the game, and our hero actually ended up lodging somewhere here when he had collected enough cash and experience from hunting monsters. Locke simply nods along as her master puts a flower on her head and acts romantic for a bit. She checks herself out in the window glass, but Wayne realizes that she might not have understood anything that he just said because she doesn't know anything about the game. More importantly, he has one more question to ask Locke, and it has to do with the fact that she is hiding her demon horns. He asks if it's all right for her to roam around without having her horns, but Locke doesn't seem to have a problem with it. She states that a high-ranking demon girl such as herself can change her appearance whenever she wants, and it's not a hassle. Wayne calls her out by saying she might sound confident, but she hasn't even gotten her wind magic back. This makes Locke nervous because she is still only at a basic power level, which is nothing compared to what she was before meeting her master. Wayne tells Locke that if she had grown so many levels after he defeated Zeres, then she should also have the ability to distribute her skills and powers. The slave girl agrees with what he says, but he then states that he did not gain any skill points after beating Zeres himself. Our hero then goes on to give us a lesson on how the whole process works by drawing up a chalkboard. The drain move is known to increase ability levels directly, but in the case of Wayne, the required experience to match these levels has increased. This means it will take some time for him to reach a stage where he can start gaining abilities again. Drain might be a useful move, but it does come with a price, and Wayne will have to deal with it. Now, Locke tells him that she was thinking about learning some different kind of magic. Since demon girls are known for their magic skills, she believes that she will be able to get the same kind of success with a different set of abilities as well. Even so, to be able to master an additional element will not be easy because one is the general limit. Hearing this makes our hero realize that it's very hard to use more than just one attribute. Locke then states that Zeres could use 3 different attributes at the same time, which had made her very special. Wayne agrees with this logic, but he also knows that a player like himself will not face this problem. He asks Locke if it will be annoying for her not to be able to use magic that she had control over before, but the slave girl says that she has her sword as backup. What's more important to her is that even if she can't use wind magic by herself, she will just need to hug her master and travel long distances with him by holding onto his body. She even starts to imagine this fantasy in her head. But Wayne is still clueless as to why Locke has so many intrusive thoughts. He pauses for a moment, and that's when he realizes that the sudden cuteness on display has caught him off guard. He agrees with Locke's logic and she blushes with joy, but their romantic moment is ruined when they hear someone screaming from a distance. Both Wayne and Locke turn around to see what the fuss is about, and they can hear 2 men fighting over bumping into each other. One man tells an old man to watch where he is going, but the old man says that he was just walking normally. The younger man seems to have kicked the old man from behind, but he says that the old man was walking so slowly that he accidentally kicked him without realizing it. Of course, this is just an excuse, and even Wayne can identify that the young man is the person in the wrong. Despite this, the rascal man continues to shout at the old man and even threatens to beat him up. Normally, a hero would come to the rescue, but Wayne has already established that he doesn't care about humans. After all, it's just an old man and not a cute girl, so he has no motivation to help him out. He tells Locke that they should get going, which catches her off guard, but she does as her master says because she wants to obey him. The only thing that matters to Locke is Wayne. But then we hear a voice ordering the rascal man to stop what he is doing. It turns out to be the guardian of Siphon, who is a cute girl named Tamara Linoa. She calls out to the rascal man and says that she will not allow any injustice to happen here as long as she is present. She decides to unleash the might of her blade and launches an attack without any hesitation. However, before the blade hits the rascal man, Tamara launches a deadly kick that knocks him out cold. This does look heroic, but Wayne wonders why the cute warrior girl didn't use her blade like she had said. Anyway, one kick is all it takes to send the rascal man flying away and he is knocked out. Tamara then goes to the old man and helps him up by offering support. Our hero sees this and comments that Tamara is a good girl, even though her fighting techniques are a bit painful to watch. The most important thing is that she has a curvy body with twin peaks, so she falls within our hero's radar. All seems to be fine, but then the rascal man wakes up from the kick and looks down on Tamara. He is annoyed by what she has just done and he is ready to teach her a lesson. Luckily, before he can do anything, he is struck by a bolt attack which has been launched by Wayne. He falls to the ground for good this time, and Tamara thanks our hero for his service. He obviously did this to impress the curvy guardian, but he was careless with his methods, and now the whole town wants to know who he is. Wayne tries to act calm, but then all the people around him start to whisper rumors into each other's ears. Our hero doesn't like that so many people are looking at him, and he laments the fact that he got carried away due to a curvy girl. He decides to resolve the issue quickly, so he says that he shocked the rascal man because he saw a damsel in distress. He then offers his hand to Tamara and asks her if she's all right. He realizes that the original victim is the old man, so he asks about him as well, and both of them say they are fine. Now, Tamara looks at our hero with dreamy eyes, which means that she's taken a liking to him. Wayne can only try to look away because he does not want his intrusive thoughts to kick in right now. The guardian girl goes on to press her curvy body against her savior's, and even asks if she can call him Wayne-kun. Our hero is a bit surprised by her behavior, and then she asks him to show some more of his amazing magic. She goes on to ask a lot of questions, and she especially wants to know if he is a student here at the academy. Tamara also wants to know what kind of magic Wayne specializes in and goes on to ask for his address as well. However, before she can carry on with this line of questioning, our hero can feel another set of twin peaks brushing up against his arms. It turns out to be Locke, who is feeling jealous of the attention Tamara is giving her master. She decides to make an introduction and also reveals that she is Wayne's slave girl. The problem is that she also mentions the nature of her slave acts, and it makes Tamara very confused. Our hero has no answer for this, so he simply laments the fact that Locke has gotten in his way again. Tamara asks Wayne if he would like to explain this, but he really doesn't know what to say to her. Our hero says that he doesn't have an excuse for his shady relationship with Locke, but it turns out that the curvy guardian wants to know what a body slave is supposed to be. Wayne is even more amazed over what he actually needs to explain, and it leads to an awkward pause. But then Locke takes Tamara away to explain all the shady things she does with her master. We can see that the curvy guardian is shocked by what she's hearing. And our hero also states that Locke is telling her things that she doesn't need to know. However, it's all true, so he can't really complain about anything for now. Locke gets done with her explanation. And then she tells Tamara that she and her master don't have any time to waste as they are here to enroll at the academy. Wayne tries to get his slave girl to calm down, but Tamara does not take any offense and says that the couple can save time if they come with her. Wayne doesn't understand what she means by this, so he asks for more clarity, even though Locke wants to get away from her. This is when Tamara reveals that she is actually a teacher at this academy. This obviously comes as a shock to both our hero as well as his slave girl, because Tamara looks too young to be a teacher. Now, we move to the Siphon Royal Academy, which looks very expensive and royal. As a matter of fact, Wayne even comments that Ina was telling him the truth about the academy, being proud of the fact that it is so costly. Now, our hero and Locke are able to enter the academy with ease, thanks to Tamara and her guidance. The curvy teacher explains that the school has a lot of departments which are backed by state-of-the-art lessons. On top of that, the research conducted here is so good that all of the students passing out from here are considered to be the best. Wayne had also heard these things before, but he has no idea about whether the school can live up to its hype. This is because there was no way to enroll into the academy back when he used to play the game. The details are a bit fuzzy to him, but then he gets distracted when he sees all the students whispering to each other and then greeting Tamara with a lot of passion. Wayne realizes that Tamara must be popular with the students because of her curvy body, and even Locke is getting a lot of attention as she is also a total babe. He realizes that he's just standing between the both of them, so everyone must be thinking that he is some kind of player. His intrusive thoughts kick in and he starts imagining some kind of twisted fantasy. But then Tamara asks him what his goal in life is. The possibilities are endless as he can choose to become a knight, an adventurer, or even a sorcery researcher. Wayne takes a moment to think about it, and then he states that he just wishes to live in freedom. This somehow makes sense to the curvy sensei, and then our hero ponders about taking up a regular job. He definitely does not want to do something so boring, but he also doesn't want to be called a villager either. Tamara tells him that being an adventurer would be the best way forward because it has been getting dangerous lately in the kingdom. The guild has been getting way too many requests, so this would be the perfect time to join in on the fun. Wayne asks the curvy teacher if the academy will be able to teach him the ways of an adventurer, so she says that everything is possible at the Royal Academy. They teach all sorts of concepts here, right from research all the way to actual battles. Wayne figures that Tamara prefers to teach actual battles, and she confirms his theory with extra passion. She goes on to explain that her family is a righteous one which has been fighting demons for ages now. Here, she polishes her own skills while also preparing the generation that's coming after her. She also says that she aspires to defeat the demon emperor Xeris one day, and it catches Locke's attention. She already isn't fond of the curvy sensei because of her attachment to Wayne, so this only makes it worse. Of course, our hero holds onto his slave girl to comfort her, because he has already defeated Xeris, thus making the whole thing irrelevant. Wayne does know that Xeris is only at 20% power right now, so it would be relatively easy to defeat her. However, he has no idea how strong Tamara is, so he's not sure if she would be able to defeat the demon slave even now. In the middle of his thoughts, Locke asks him if he had acquired the Mind's Eye skill after defeating Xeris. Wayne realizes that he did pick up this skill and was meaning to try it for a while. His slave girl explains that the Mind's Eye is a passive ability that increases the accuracy of his attacks and also his probability of evading attacks from others. On top of that, Mind's Eye can also be used to check out the stats of other people. Wayne believes this is very handy, but the reason for Locke asking this is because she feels that Tamara might become an enemy to Xeris if her dream is to defeat her. Due to this, they should be wary of her, which is why Locke wants her master to try out the Mind's Eye skill on her. Our hero has no issue with this, so he uses his powers to check out the curvy sensei's stats. He feels that Locke is just worrying for no reason, but when he takes a look at the stats, he realizes that Tamara is actually pretty strong. As a matter of fact, she is as strong as Locke is right now, and can even go on to match Xeris at 20% power. This is due to a skill known as the high HP auto-regeneration ability. She also has a skill that allows her to land lethal attacks to back up her enhanced stats, so she is not one to mess with. Tamara continues walking, but then she notices that Wayne and Locke are keeping a distance from her. She asks them if something is the matter, but our hero simply says that it's nothing, and then he walks up to her with his slave girl. At the same time, Wayne starts doing an analysis, and now he believes that if Tamara were to take on Xeris right now, then there is a good chance that she might even come out on top of the battle. This would obviously be a problem for him as Xeris is also his slave girl now, which means that she is part of his team. Wayne is not going to let any harm come to his slave girls, so he can't overlook Tamara for now. Of course, his main goal is to enroll at the academy, but if push comes to shove, then he will have no issue in taming the curvy sensei as well. Anyway, the good thing out of all of this is that he won't be bored at this academy. As he and Laka continue to follow Tamara, our hero notices that he can switch pages on the stat bar, so he wonders what other information he can come across for the curvy sensei. However, when he opens this page, he learns that the information here is for shady reasons as they contain her measurements. Also, Wayne learns that even though Tamara is a teacher here, she has not even kissed a person yet, which means that she is very innocent. His intrusive thoughts start to kick in again, and he realizes that these are important stats for a shady boy like himself. He then decides to take a look at Laka, since they have actually done shady things to each other. Her stats are quite impressive, and then Wayne starts to have a fantasy about both Laka and Tamara. He compares both their curvy bodies, but decides it's best to leave it at a tie for now. Honestly, he will never be able to decide who is better till he actually violates them both. But his intrusive thoughts are cut short when Laka asks him once again if he has checked out Tamara's stats. He says yes, but will give her the details later, so she agrees to wait for a bit. Either way, Mind's Eye is a very useful tool, but Laka also reveals that Zeris didn't like it a lot. As a matter of fact, she would leave a deep sigh whenever she would use it on Laka, so this could mean that she would get disappointed in her own body after seeing Laka's measurements. Wayne picks this up instantly, so he hopes that the demon slave stays strong despite her flat body. Now, Tamar takes Wayne and Laka to the registration desk and they fill out the paperwork. Once that is done, the curvy sensei states that our hero's department is practical tactics. He might have chosen this in order to learn the ways of fighting with weapons and magic, so she asks him if her hunch is right. He says yes, and then he is presented with his student ID cards and maps to the dorm. Wayne is told to ask his dorm mother for his allocation, so he picks up the files and pays the tuition fees. Tamara is shocked to see him paying the whole amount in one shot, because the school is very costly. This is not standard money, so she asks if Wayne and Laka are from rich families. This puts our hero in a spot of bother, because the money is mostly from the treasure that he found at Zeris's dungeon. Even the birthplace mentioned in the form is fake because Wayne just thought that the place would suit him the most. He thinks of something to tell the curvy sensei, but he's out of options, so he simply says that he and Laka are going through something, so it would be best if she didn't ask them so many questions. Tamara realizes that she's being too intrusive, so she decides to separate from the couple for now. She actually wanted to show them around the place, but she also has other things to do, so she will have to take a rain check. Wayne says that it's fine, so she doesn't need to worry about it. After all, they'll be seeing more of each other in this school soon enough. Tamara says that Wayne will most definitely be seeing her again because she is a teacher in the Applied Tactics class. She wants to tease our hero now, so she says that he should call her sensei now that he is already a student in this school. Wayne should treat Tamara as a teacher, but he says that she looks a lot younger than him. For some reason, this makes her panic, and then she scolds our hero for being rude to her. She goes on to say that she's turning 20 this year, which comes as a huge shock to him. The curvy sensei goes on to state that she is a fully grown lady and she'll get mad if he ever pokes fun at her. Of course, she looks like a cute doll even when she's angry, so Wayne can't believe that she is actually 20 years old. No matter how he looks at her, he can only imagine some kind of middle school teenager. This puts him in a spot of bother, and all he can do is stare at the curvy sensei. But then Laka decides to take over. She says that it's all right because Tamara is a really cute girl after all. The slave girl towers over the curvy sensei to assert dominance and even swishes her hair to make a statement. This clearly upsets Tamara because she is reminded that she is short and sweet once again. With no control over her emotions, she runs away crying and says that when she'll be back, she'll have grown by another 10%. Our hero feels that this will be highly unlikely as that would mean an extra 14 centimeters, which is impossible in such a short time. Laka happily says bye to her and then hugs her master without having to worry about sharing him. She says that the nuisance is gone, so they can freely look around the academy now. Laka is smiling and blushing, but our hero knows that she can be difficult in her own way as well. The couple proceeds to walk around the outdoor garden area and Laka is having a good time. But then our hero decides to correct her behavior from earlier. He tells her that Tamara was the one who got their paperwork done properly, so she should not be so mean towards her. Calling the curvy sensei was a bit harsh, so Laka should be nicer to other girls, but this affects the slave girl, so she leaves her master's arm. She asks him what his intentions are for Tamara, but he doesn't get what she means. Basically, Laka wants to know if our hero wants to drain the curvy sensei's powers as well. He says that he only has plans to lay his hands on those who get in his way, so it will depend on how Tamara behaves with him. The slave girl is not satisfied with this response, so she asks her master if he intends to place the curvy sensei under his command if he were to drain her powers. He simply says that it will depend on the situation once again, so it's not a sure thing. This seems to make Locke upset, so Wayne asks her if all is well. He notices that she's asking way too many questions today, so he wants to know what's really on her mind. This is when his slave girl finally gives in to her emotions and reveals that she wants to be greedy with her master. Basically, Locke is scared that Wayne might leave her for the curvy sensei and offer his heart to her instead, since she has already offered everything owned by her has to him. There is nothing more that Locke can give our hero, so she doesn't know if this will be enough to keep him as her lover boy. As she continues to make this request, Wayne grabs his slave girl and hugs her with passion. She blushes instantly, and then our hero tells her that she should not take him lightly. Wayne might be a shady boy with intrusive thoughts, but he has complete control over his own heart. He has already told her that she is one of his own, and he will never abandon her, no matter what may befall him. This makes Locke very emotional, and she decides to give him a taste of what she feels. She doesn't want her master to hold back and is ready to give her all to him. Wayne comments that Locke is a spoiled little girl, but it can't be helped, so he decides to go all in as well. They are about to act on their intrusive thoughts, but then they get interrupted suddenly by a voice that calls out to them. As luck would have it, the voice is from none other than Tamara herself, and she rushes towards the couple with a map in her hand. Basically, she had made an error earlier by giving both Wayne and Locke maps leading to the boys' dorm. The girls' dorm is located at another venue, so she marks the spot in red and then hands over the map to Locke. However, when she looks at the slave girl's face, it appears to be flushed in red, and steam can also be seen coming out from her ears. Of course, the curvy sensei has no idea why she is feeling this way, so she asks Locke what's the matter. The slave girl is clearly annoyed because she was having such a nice moment with her master. Wayne worries about what may happen now, but Locke is able to control herself, and she even thanks Tamara for going through the trouble of bringing the map to her. The curvy sensei admits that it was her mistake to begin with, so this was the least that she could do. Of course, all of this is meant with sarcasm as Locke goes on to pat Tamara's head, and even calls her a good girl as if she is a little child. The slave girl activates demon mode again, and we can see that the curvy sensei is feeling shy once again for being treated this way. Tamara begins to cry, and Locke has no remorse at all, so Wayne simply laments that the girls will need to get along with each other if he is to have a peaceful time ahead. Now that all the drama is done with, our hero enters his room and comments on how tiresome this day has been for him. He has only just set foot into Siphon, but he has already had to deal with a rascal man in the main area, and then he also had to go through the enrollment procedure in the academy. If that wasn't enough, he also had to go meet the dorm head and learn all the rules of his accommodation. Luckily, all of the formal actions have been completed, so he can look forward to an eventful time ahead in school. Of course, we need a small flashback to learn what had happened after Locke went demon mode. After saying bye to Tamara, Wayne had decided to cut his tour short and head to his dorm room. However, Locke wanted to come along with him, which would be a problem because she is a cute girl. Our hero managed to convince her to live separately, and she eventually agreed, but was still very reluctant. Wayne had explained that he did not have a choice because he needed to follow the rules of the dorm, but the real reason for his actions were obviously shady. Essentially, it would have been very hard for him to bring other girls to his room if he was living with Locke, and now he is free to unleash his intrusive techniques on all the cute girls of the academy. Now, we're back to the present where our hero is gloating over his shady plan to cheat on his slave girl. He also considers himself lucky to have the whole room to himself, as there are 2 beds here, along with multiple shelves. It looks like this room was supposed to be for 2 people, but the dorm lady had told Wayne that it just happened to be empty, so he can have it all to himself. Even then, it feels weird for our hero to be alone here, but it can't be helped, so he crashes into his bed hoping to get some sleep. He does confess that it would have been a huge pain to live with someone else, especially if it was some kind of random man. Wayne believes that getting a whole room to himself is the cause of his good karma, although at this point, that seems to be a joke. Soon enough, he realizes why this room is empty as there are rumbling sounds coming from the top of the ceiling. Suddenly, a ghost girl appears out of nowhere and she orders our hero to leave the room. She keeps warning him against staying here and even calls him an intruder whom she will haunt. As the ghost girl is about to lay her hands on Wayne, he makes an irritated face and slams her to the floor. The ghost girl has no idea how he was able to do this, and she orders him to release her this very moment. Of course, Wayne is not going to do that, because he has had enough of this nonsense. However, he does realize now that the reason he got this room so easily was because it's haunted. Our hero laments his luck, but he doesn't even seem bothered by the ghost girl he's holding down with his magic. He states that it's obvious for physical attacks to have no effect on ghosts, which is why he's chosen to use his magic instead. The ghost girl can actually feel this attack to the point where she feels like she is getting crushed. She even worries that she will get flattened if Wayne doesn't hold back. But he says that she won't be crushed this way because she does not have a physical body. Instead, he states that she will simply vanish from the DOT if this carries on for long. The ghost girl doesn't like the sound of this, so she begs our hero to let her go, and she promises to do anything to gain her freedom. Wayne gets annoyed by her voice and tells her to stop being so noisy at this time of night. Then, our hero undoes his spell and the ghost girl can finally breathe a sigh of relief. Now, we learn that her name is Kaus, and she is very upset to be treated this way by a random boy. She scolds Wayne for being insolent and using his powers to hurt her, but he couldn't care lesser than he already does. She goes on to state that her full name is Noisette Kaus Newage, and it leads our hero to state that she has a very long name for a ghost. Kaus can't bear the fact that a human is being so calm around her, so she demands to know why Wayne is so chilled out. She states that she is from the Nodge family, which means that she was a duke's daughter. Kaus once again demands our hero to cower in fear as she used to be a magical tools researcher, but none of her words have any effect on him. Wayne simply turns his back to Kaus and says that he doesn't know her because he doesn't care about her past. He also states that ghosts can't harm him physically, so at this point, Kaus is nothing more than an annoying noise to him, so he tells her to shut up once again. The ghost girl doesn't take too kindly to his attitude, so she threatens to curse him if he doesn't leave the room. Basically, Kaus was given this room around the time she had passed away, which is why her spirit continues to haunt it. She doesn't get a response, so she decides to show Wayne how scary she can really be. However, before she can do that, she sees a barrier forming around her, which confuses the ghost girl. This barrier is being made by Wayne, who complains that he's tired, but still has enough energy to cast such strong magic. He reveals that he has unleashed a wind field move, which is combined with Fun Bolt. This means that Kaus will now get shocked by Fun Bolts while she is inside the barrier. The ghost girl can feel some kind of tingling sensation all over her body, and she seems to enjoy it. Now, our hero explains that he has used a combo of Wind Field with Fun Bolt because it is a pretty fun combo, considering the kind of pleasure it can provide to its recipient. He then tells Kaus to sit tight for the rest of the night, even though she is unable to hear him through the barrier. With that, our hero goes to sleep while the ghost girl has the time of her afterlife. Time passes by, and we can see that it's still nighttime, but it looks like something is up with Wayne. He can feel some kind of heaviness, almost as if he is swimming in mud. He slowly starts to open his eyes and tries to recall where he is, as he is very drowsy at this point and barely awake. Our hero remembers that he's in the dorm room, but he can also sense that someone is touching his body. It happens to be none other than Laka, who has snuck into his dorm room to act on her intrusive thoughts. Wayne is barely able to keep his eyes open, and he asks his slave girl what she's doing here. At the same time, he thinks that there's no way for Laka to be here, so it must be a dream. She simply says that she's here to give him a treat, but Wayne feels very dazed, so he's not able to understand what she's saying. He tells her she can do what she wants as long as she doesn't wake him, and Laka takes full advantage of that statement. What follows is an intense session, which Wayne still believes to be a dream. Soon enough, the sun rises and our hero is woken up by Laka, who has decided to spend the night even after their session. Wayne wakes up and comments on how bright it is outside, but Laka still can't get over the amazing experience she had with him during the night. She thanks her master for showing her what a true man feels like. But he is very confused after hearing this. After looking at his slave girl being so shy and cute, our hero realizes that he was not having a dream. Instead, what he saw and did was all real, and Laka being here is proof of that. The slave girl now hugs her master and says that she loves him more than anything else in the whole world. Wayne finds himself in a tricky spot because all this time, he had only seen Laka as a babe with lesser brain. However, now that they have crossed all boundaries, she is looking a lot cuter and more lovable. As our hero tries to deal with his feelings, his slave girl can sense something off, so she asks if all is well. Wayne tries to play it off, but Laka seems to have misunderstood what he's worrying about. She says that he doesn't need to worry about his elephant shot as she is capable of controlling her cycles. This is because she is a high-level demon and she has the powers to avoid any unnecessary accidents. This is a relief to shady boys like Wayne, but he would prefer it if his slave girl didn't say such things out loud. This makes him wonder if she really has any brains at all, because she just ruined the mood in the blink of an eye. At the same time, at least he knows his elephant can freely keep shooting into her whenever they act on their intrusive thoughts. As much as the couple would like to talk about the fun they had during the night, they also need to get ready for class, so they need to wear some clothes. Laka gets out of bed to get dressed, but then she notices Kaus lying on the floor totally knocked out from the fun bolts she was receiving the whole night. The slave girl is shocked to find such a hilarious scene, and demands to know who this deviant is. She calls out Kaus for being in the boys' dorm, but our hero believes his slave girl is no less since she is also here and has actually let her master do unspeakable things to her. Wayne explains to Locke that the ghost girl has been in this room right from the start, so she gets confused. That's when he further states that he had asked Kaus to get lost as he was tired, but she wasn't listening to him, so he decided to teach her a lesson. With the punishment he gave her, Wayne is sure that Kaus has learned not to mess with him by now. However, what he really wants to know is how his slave girl was able to sneak into his room and do shady things with him at night. She simply says that her master was not being vigilant enough in guarding the room as she was able to come in through the windows. Wayne wonders if he had locked the windows, but Locke explains that they were. She basically entered by smashing through the windows simply by knocking on them. This is a hilarious situation, but also an issue for our hero, which is why he tells Locke to just come and go through the door next time. However, he gets distracted when he sees his slave girl's uniform and starts to feel something tingle in his elephant. Locke is able to figure out what's going on and asks her master if he likes her school uniform. She states that she had brought her clothes with her because she had always intended to spend the night with Wayne. It feels a bit tight around her twin peaks, but that can't be helped. Our hero is a bit bothered by the Academy's black base uniform design because it's too tame for a shady boy like him. At the same time though, such a tame design looks good on Locke's curvy body because it enhances the lewd appeal of her figure by several times over. He continues to gaze at his slave girl and even compares this to sprinkling salt on a watermelon in order to enhance its sweetness. Locke asks her master if his intrusive thoughts are kicking in again, and he asks her if it's a problem. Of course, she would gladly welcome another round of madness, but they have classes to attend, so they can't spend more time on each other. Wayne puts on his clothes and states that they can't be late to class on their very first day. He tells Locke that she should head back to her dorm, but she says that she wants to go to class with her master. Wayne tells her that they still need to get fresh, especially after all the places their mouths had been during the night. Our hero suggests that his slave girl should wash up properly and eat some food, after which he will come to pick her up from her dorm. The thought of her lover boy coming to pick her up for class makes Locke go crazy with romantic fantasy. She tells her master that she will wait for him because that is also a part of being lovers. Locke even compares herself to a loyal dog, which looks cute at first, but makes our hero wonder what's up with her head. The slave girl makes her exit through the door, so our hero hopes nobody saw her getting out of his room. It will be annoying if he attracts a lot of attention this way, but then he remembers what Locke said about smashing the windows. Wayne checks it out, but is shocked to see that they are completely fine. It's rather odd for the windows to be completely fine. But there's no time for our hero to be worrying about such things, whatever the reason may be. He can probably think about it later as he needs to leave for class right away. Now, Wayne looks at Kaus, who is still passed out from the fun bolt she had received last night. He tells the ghost girl that she needs to wake up and get out of his room as soon as possible, because he doesn't want to see her when he comes back from class. Now that all of the formalities have been done with, our hero puts on his uniform and is ready for a fresh start at the academy. He's already had an amazing night, so he's looking forward to a lot of fun things to do.
Before Wayne can truly experience academy life with Locke and Tamara, it's time to turn to a rather interesting chapter. Here, we see Wayne in his child form being smothered by the goddess Aina, and he's feeling a bit too overwhelmed by her curvy body. He asks her to let him go, but she can't help holding his face and burying it in her soft pillows. She finds his hair and skin to be soft now, but he tells her that he still has his memories from his past life, so she should not be treating him like a child. Aina is upset because she really wanted to enjoy herself with this child body of Wayne's. That's a bit messed up, considering she is exhibiting ditty behavior, but even Wayne says that there's not much he can do with an underdeveloped body. Aina says that's not a reason to worry, because there are a lot of ways to enjoy even if it is small. The goddess acts cute and innocent even though she clearly isn't, and states that she is extremely happy today as she was able to meet a freshly reincarnated Wayne, just as she had planned. She also declares that all of this was only possible because of her hard work, and she really has some C-suite management skills. What follows is exactly what heaven would feel like, although Wayne might be struggling for breath. Aina tells him that he can enjoy her pillows as much as he wants, which is exactly what he does. The shoddiness goes on for a while, and then the goddess talks about how humans age so quickly, but are very precious when they are little. This just adds on to the diddler allegations, and then she teases Wayne for enjoying her pillows just like a newborn baby. Our hero is not at all pleased about being treated this way, so he unleashes the beast within with his tooth attack. Aina is surprised that Wayne has become so rough with her, and she pleads him not to stimulate her so much, otherwise she will turn into a demon from a goddess. Wayne asks Aina if she is the one who has given him the power of shady skills, and she says yes, but she did not expect him to be so adept at it even as a little child. It doesn't take too long for our hero to use his legs as his elephant over here, and after a bit of rubbing, Aina experiences an explosion that now instantly makes her guilty of being a PDF file. She comments that Wayne is very amazing as he has already been able to make use of the skills she's given him, even with an underdeveloped body. Our hero asks Aina if they can keep going before anyone else can interrupt, which makes the shady goddess even happier. Suddenly, Aina hears a voice mocking her, and it happens to be Laka of all people. She instantly grabs her master and tells him he's much better off resting in her lap with her pillows providing a soft cushion effect. Then, Xerus shows up as well and tells Aina that she is going to teach her a lesson, which not only confuses the goddess but us as well. At this point, we don't know if this is even real, but then Xerus tells Aina that she should not forget what had happened at the castle. Laka also warns the goddess that she'll end her if she gets any closer to her master. Aina now acts like a damsel in distress and holds on to Wayne for help, but he is probably more clueless than anyone else in the room. That's when the goddess finally wakes up and reveals to us that everything we saw so far was just a dream, so technically, she can still escape the allegations. Aina is sad that this was a dream and not real life, so maybe she is more like Drake than Diddy. The goddess hopes that Wayne is doing well by himself right now, because even though his child form was extremely cute, she still wants to get with the real thing. She's still scared of the demon girls Laka and Xerus, but that will not stop her from playing with her lover boy. Now, we're finally back to the present where Wayne meets up with Laka after having his meal. She is really happy to see her master and looks super cute in her new outfit, so our hero does not have a problem with her energy. Wayne comments that going to school at this age may feel new to him, but also nostalgic as reminds him about what he would do back on Earth. Laka does not understand what he is talking about, so instead, she asks him if his human body is very young. Our hero says that his past life was very different, but he'd rather not talk about that to his demon slave girl. Plus, he does not like all the looks he and Laka are getting from the other students in the school. Of course, the attention is on the cute and curvy Laka rather than Wayne, as everyone talks about how pretty she is. As expected, this is great for Wayne's ego, so there is a huge smile on his face. Laka does not get why he is so chirpy all of a sudden, so she asks him about it, but he brushes it off. Anyway, the demon girl is just happy to see her master smiling, so she asks him if he would like to see what she is wearing. Laka lifts her skirt to reveal today's color is pink frilled, but Wayne stops her from committing public indecency. This makes her sad because she thinks her master is not interested in her clothes, but in reality, Wayne does not want the rest of the school to think ill of Laka and call her an exhibitionist. He tells her that he'll take a good look at it later when they're alone, and this lights her up. Our hero realizes that it may not matter how glamorous Laka may be on the outside. At the end of the day, she is among the shadiest girls ever seen on Comic Guzzlers. The way she's holding Wayne as they walk together is also a bit awkward considering everyone is looking at them. The couple enters the staff room and they find Tamara waiting for them. She is curvy beyond belief as usual, so Wayne has to act cool rather than staring at her enormous pillows. Tamara says that she is not in charge of the class, but she will see the both of them during training today, so she wishes them the best. Someone else seems to notice the couple talking to Tamara, so she asks Wayne and Laka if they are the new students who have transferred here. Our hero affirms to that, but then the mad woman launches a whip attack on him. He is not her husband yet, so he can easily dodge it, but this only irks the woman because she does not like rebellious students dodging her attacks. She reveals herself to be Domina Elms, who is in charge of the tactics group. She is dressed exactly like a dom, and then she asks Wayne about his manner of speech. She does not like the fact that he is addressing Tamara without using honorifics, so she scolds him for acting like an animal who does not understand language. Our hero can't exactly talk back to yet another curvy sensei because he is a student here, and he also has to make sure that Laka does not lose her temper and destroy Domina for attacking her master. Of course, using such sudden corporal punishment is a bit much, but even so, Wayne says that he will reflect on his actions. Domina does not like that he is talking back to her, so she tries to whip him again. She states that she will have to beat some sense into Wayne before accepting him as an actual member of the school, but he dodges her attack once again. Laka is now getting aggressive, so Wayne asks her to calm down before things get out of control. Our hero's skills begin to annoy Domina, so she launches a vicious whip attack on him and says that he will be forced to accept her education. It's of no use though, as Wayne is able to dodge all of it while also stating that he's sorry and won't repeat his mistakes. Everyone watches on as Wayne dodges all of Domina's attacks, and the curvy sensei starts to grow tired. She can't believe that Wayne is able to dodge all of her attacks with such grace and smoothness. But our hero can't believe that he and Laka will have to follow such a person's instructions. Her power is quite weak according to him, and soon enough, Domina has to stop to catch her breath again. Wayne is confused to see her tire down so quickly, but then he makes another observation. He can see the curvy sensei sweating, so he comments that she is looking quite alluring right now in such a vulnerable position. As expected, she loses her patience and is about to strike Wayne with all her might, but then she notices that he is ready for whatever she has, so she abandons the strike. Having figured out that she has no chance against our hero, Domina tells him and Laka to follow her to the class. Our hero is completely unfazed, and then Laka smiles while telling him he totally showed Domina the difference in their levels. She then puts on a cute pose while saying if Domina's whip even so much as grazed her master's cheek, she would have probably slapped her so hard that her neck would have broken. Wayne has to tell the demon girl not to say such things out loud because it will leave a bad impression. With that, he tells his slave girl that they should head to class. So they hold hands and leave the room while Tamara watches on in total shock and disbelief. After all, she has never seen anyone dodge Domina's attacks like that before, so she wonders who Wayne really is. Domina leads the couple to class, and in the middle of this, Wayne uses his mind's eye skill to confirm her status. He learns that the dominatrix sensei is definitely much better than an average person, but is still nowhere close to Tamara's strength. Could just mean that Tamara's powers are just like her pillows, but Wayne doesn't have to worry about either of these women. Now, Domina enters the classroom and immediately refers to all of the students inside as pigs. She takes the stand with Wayne and Laka next to her, after which she declares that new students will be joining from today onwards. She wants everyone to get along with them, which is not what you would expect from a dom girl. She then tells the couple to introduce themselves as she will not be doing it for them. This is surprising to hear from a teacher, so Wayne wonders exactly how upset Domina is with him for making a fool of her with his evasive skills. He decides to go first, but almost exposes how he is a man of culture who likes to do shady things to cute girls. Eventually he states that he doesn't really have anything of interest in particular, but he does have a few good skills, which is selling himself short by a lot. Laka then introduces herself, but even she messes up by saying things like she used to be the right-hand woman of Demon Queen Xeris. Anyway, she states that she would like everyone to get along with Wayne, which makes the whole class wonder what kind of relationship she shares with him. Our hero laments that he is not too good when it comes to self-intros, and Laka is even more sus as she brought up Xeris. Either way, Domina doesn't think much of it, and tells the couple to take their seats, which are located in the back end of the class. Wayne grabs his seat, but notes that he is not able to communicate properly when he is put in front of a group of people. Anyway, he tries to brush off what happened, and then someone calls out to him. It's a cute girl named Miyu who is very excited that she and Wayne will be neighbors in class. Our hero can sense that she is an energetic girl, so he greets her properly as well. Miyu notices that Wayne doesn't look so good by himself, so she asks him if all is well. After all, he was stuttering for quite a bit when he was introducing himself. Wayne simply tells her that he has been this way right from the very beginning. He even states that he's not too good when it comes to dealing with vigorous people, so Miyu doesn't prod much. However, she does ask him what his relationship is with Laka, and she even gives them nicknames. Wayne is a bit taken aback by the casual vibe of this new girl, and then she tells him that she could sense something from the way Laka had introduced herself and her master. From this, Miyu could easily figure that Wayne and Laka are more than just friends. Wayne becomes alert, but Miyu tells him that he doesn't need to worry about her gossiping or anything. It turns out that our hero wasn't worried about Miyu's gossiping, but rather about what's in front of her. It turns out that Domina is pretty upset over the chit-chat between Miyu and Wayne, so she scolds her for not paying attention in class. Miyu tries to act innocent by saying she got caught up in the conversation. This leads to the Dom-sensei smacking her on the head with her baton, and it's pretty hard. Miyu feels this is very mean because she was just having a private conversation. The problem, though, is that Domina gets extremely excited after finally making contact with a victim. She was stressed from all the dodging that our hero had done earlier, so to hit someone with her baton makes her remember how she has been doing this for 5 years. Her whip had never failed to polish any of her students, so this is making her go a bit crazy. As a result, Domina starts whacking Miyu some more, much to Wayne's own surprise. It makes for a hilarious scene as Miyu runs away from the Dom-sensei while saying she doesn't deserve to be hit so much. Domina chases the poor student out of the class, but Wayne is confused as to whether it was really that much of a shock to Domina for him to have dodged everything she threw at him. Later, Laka asks Wayne if he was hurt by this, but he says he wasn't even involved in it, so he's all right. Laka then asks about Miyu, but Wayne thinks that she could be a problem moving forward, so he'll just leave her be for now. At that moment, Wayne remembers calling Miyu by her full name, which is Miyu Lapis Nwaj. The demon girl seems to have heard that name recently, but does not have any memory of the same. Eventually, Wayne figures there's no point stressing over something like this, so they should just carry on and enjoy their academy life. Now, we move to the next day in class, which is being held at a gymnasium, although it does look like it has been reinforced with something. Domina is holding proceedings, and she is glad to see everyone here. It's time to explain the details of today's training program, but then we see Miyu as well, with a worn-out look. Our hero asks her if she is all right, but that is clearly not the case for her. She lets out a lot of hatred towards Domina because she can't believe what the Dom-sensei did to her. Miyu calls Domina a lot of names, and also states that she is a total spinster. She then states that she will spread any rumor about Domina to make sure nobody will ever ask for her hand in marriage. Unfortunately for her, Domina seems to have caught on to her energy, and asks if she would like to have another round of punishment. Wayne thinks this is very childish behavior, but Miyu responds by saying she is a model student and would never even think of such horrible things about her sensei. Domina says that this is the way to live if you want to have a long life in her class, and then she talks about holding mock battles for the students. There's a lot of noise in the background, so the students ask about it, but the Dom-sensei says that it's time to be quiet. Domina proceeds to reveal that this class was supposed to be held by Tamara, as she was to measure everyone's ability, but there were reports of a demon appearance earlier, which is why she has been sent to deal with it. It seems to have been a life or death situation, so the students will just need to accept that fact. Wayne gets it now, because the students only came here hoping to meet Tamara and her gigantic pillows. However, due to the sudden emergency, they will just have to accept their class with Domina. Either way, our hero didn't expect the class to hold Tamara's powers in such high regard. Although it is pretty much certain that her assessment powers are not the only assets that people are interested in. Domina repeats that she will now proceed with mock duels, and the kids will have to bear with it. She feels that the new students may find it a bit harsh, but it is the best way to measure their levels and skills. Wayne decides to become a savage by saying this is quite rich coming from the same woman who got depressed just because he was able to dodge her whips again and again. This causes emotional damage to the Dom sensei, so she turns to the dark side and tells him that she will start with him if he is insisting so much. Domina then tells the students who think they can beat Wayne to come forward, and she will even give them a reward for winning against him. At this point, she is not even trying to stop her personal agenda against him, but Wayne doesn't care. Somebody raises his hand, and his name happens to be Pete. Domina tells him to step forward, but Wayne doesn't like the fact that a stud boy has shown up who even gets cheers when he stands out. Pete introduces himself to Wayne rather politely, but it can be seen that he is a smug brat who simply likes to put himself above others. He states that he holds highest rank amongst all the freshman students when it comes to practical tactics, but Wayne honestly couldn't care less. He offers to shake Pete's hand, but gets rejected, after which Pete asks him about his relationship with Laka. Our hero thinks it's rather abrupt, but does say that the demon girl is his precious partner. Pete seems to find this funny, and he laughs at Wayne because he does not think that someone as pretty as Laka would be his partner. He even goes on to mock Wayne by calling him a swine, which gets on his nerves a bit. Pete is really a jerk as he goes on to act super mean with our hero by saying he has muddy eyes, whereas he himself has noble blood running through his veins. The arrogance is crazy as Pete says that he is the only one who would be worthy of being with someone like Laka. Of course, Wayne openly tells him that this is nothing more than petty jealousy, which seems to irk Pete. The smug brat tells Wayne that he should grab his wooden sword so that he can be shown the difference in their abilities. Now, Domina explains the rules of the game to both the fighters. The person to land a strike with his wooden sword first will be declared the winner, but it is to be noted that a shallow hit will not be counted as a strike. Using martial arts or magic is also allowed, but only up to the point of incapacitating your opponent. Wayne has no further questions, so it's time to get down to business. The Dom sensei starts the fight, and Pete says that he is not going to hold back on Wayne. He continues with the trash talk, but before he can even finish his sentence, Wayne decides to take him down with 5 rapid strikes. Pete is hit so bad that he almost flies away, but our hero did not expect him to be so weak. After all, he had taken great care not to break Pete's bones, as it would make his powers seem suspicious. Domina watches on in shock and awe because she has no idea what kind of swing that was. Wayne is shocked that she couldn't follow his hits, so he explains to her that he managed to whack Pete with ease. Domina can't believe that Wayne was able to land a hit on Pete, which annoys Wayne because he will not be able to win if the referee herself is going to be so slow. He explains that he didn't land 1 hit, but 5 on his opponent, but then Pete interrupts him. He refuses to back down simply because of the fact that he will not allow himself to lose against someone like Wayne. Our hero is totally unfazed, so Pete loses his composure and launches a hell flame on him. It's basically like a fireball, but it's nothing for Wayne, who uses his storm power to absorb the hell flame. He pushes the attack back, and Pete is in shock over how Wayne was able to do this with wind. He still declares that he is graceful and will never lose to his opponent, but this is nothing more than smack talk as Wayne takes him down with his own moves. It's a super easy win for our hero as the smug brat gets knocked out, and everyone is stunned into silence, especially Domina. Wayne asks Pete what he was saying earlier about the difference in their abilities, and this is more than enough for Laka to happily run to her master with joy as he has just shown everyone what he is capable of. She tells him how amazing he is, and Wayne enjoys all the attention he is getting from everyone else, who is basically watching on with both awe and confusion. This is a good thing for Wayne, as he will now command respect from everyone in the class, and perhaps even Domina. How is this new life going to turn out for our hero after all the incidents he has come across? Once this is done, the other students also do their mock battles. Pete's injury could be healed easily, so he's fine too. Domina is not too keen on punishing Wayne now, but he feels he can't tame anyone amongst his classmates now. The main thing is that his target must be hostile towards him for the taming to work. Also, Pete was the strongest from the whole class, so it makes zero sense to challenge Wayne, who owned him like a boss. Now, Domina calls out to Laka, who says that she will do her best to make her sensei proud. Her opponent seems to have some intrusive thoughts while looking at her, but that can't be helped. Even so, he is no match for Wayne's babe, as can be seen when he is beaten with ease. Laka feels bad about being so dominating, so she offers him her hand, which makes all the other boys jealous of him. They think that Laka is an angel, whereas the truth is that she is a demon. All of a sudden, the opponent tries to grab Laka's pillows, which is quite shameless, but before Wayne can step in, she slashes his hand off. Everyone is shocked to see this, including our hero, and the shady boy is in a lot of pain. Laka looks like she has turned over to the dark side, and she seemingly goes to attack him some more. However, she ends up using Sacred Heal to reattach his hand. Now, Laka tells him that her curvy body is only for Wayne to enjoy, and she will let him off this time because it is first offense. But she won't be as kind the next time. This is enough to make the boy's soul leave his body, and then Laka asks her lover boy if he saw what she just did. She is as excited as a child, considering she can use healing magic now, but Wayne says there is something a bit more concerning to focus on. Domina comes charging in, asking if Laka knows what she has just done. However, the demon girl says that she only gave her opponent a warning. She says this can be considered acting in defense, plus she healed the boy too. Domina says that intentionally harming your opponent during training is wrong, but then Laka puts on her mean face and says that she did nothing wrong. Domina gets scared and asks her not to repeat this in the future. Domina backs away now, and Wayne tells us the scumbag got what he deserved, since only he can enjoy his babe's pillows. The boy is taken away on a stretcher, and then Domina tries to resume the class, but Tamara shows up now. She apologizes for being late, but Domina is impressed that she was able to defeat a demon and return so quickly. It turns out that the demon ran away from Tamara the moment she showed up, which puzzled her. What she is more concerned about is Wayne's ability, so she asks Domina about it. She does not want to discuss such things in front of the other students, but Tamara convinces her to do so. Tamara learns about how Pete got violated, so Tamara is certain her eyes did not deceive her. She walks up to our hero and asks him if he would like to duel her. This completely out of pocket, so Wayne asks if Tamara wants to train. However, she says that this will be a proper match with neither party holding back. Wayne is surprised to hear this, but Tamara knew that Wayne was different right from when she first saw him. She wants to see his full strength, which makes our hero wonder what he should do next. He can't use his tame skill here, so it would be better to postpone the fight. Everyone in the crowd is talking about it, making things tougher for Wayne. Eventually, our hero accepts the duel because he can't exactly run away now. Tamara is happy to hear this, and she says he can use whatever weapon he likes. She is using her best equipment, so Wayne also has to choose something good. He can't use his main weapon, but a wooden sword would be quite shabby as well. Laka asks if he would like to use her demon sword, which must have been pulled out from a special place, but Bro tells her it's not needed. By the end of it, he chooses a double-hand sword, which is tricky to handle, but Wayne should manage just fine. With that, Domina is told to officiate the match, and she begins it. Tamara comes charging in, and she reminds Wayne not to hold back. He manages to knock off her sword with ease, and then he goes for the final blow. However, Tamara calls him naive because she did mention anything was allowed. With that, her cape transforms into some kind of weapon, and it wraps itself around Wayne's sword. He does not know what is going on, but then he gets tossed back. He is in the air now, so Tamara activates the ultimate fist and goes for a strike. She tells our hero that she overestimated him, and then she launches multiple attacks. Bro blocks with his sword, but the weapon breaks with ease. Now, Tamara mocks Wayne, telling him he can't win against her, but that only spurs him on some more. He never intended to use his full strength, but considering what has just been said, he decides to step it up a notch. He uses dark magic level 6 and summons a demon arm in front of her. Tamara is taken aback, and then Wayne attacks her with the arm. She is unable to defend herself and gets knocked back with one shot. Tamara doesn't look like she's waking up, and our hero is a bit disappointed that she wasn't as strong as he thought. He takes his demon arm away, but Domina is too shocked to pass any kind of declaration. He goes to check up on Tamara, and at least she does not have any fatal wounds. He did a lot more damage than he had expected, but more importantly, he can see Tamara's mommy milkers that can cure cancer. His intrusive thoughts start to take over, but bro can't be caught lacking in front of the others, so he controls himself. Tamara's cape is fine, so Wayne wants to know what it's made of. Anyway, he takes his jacket and puts it on his curvy sensei. Suddenly, all the students gather around Wayne in amazement, because they never thought that Tamara would be taken down so easily. Now, Tamara finally wakes up, but does not understand why she is in such a state. After seeing the state of her clothes, she remembers that she lost to our hero's magic. Wayne tells her to keep the jacket for now, considering what he did to her. Tamara still can't believe that there is someone who can defeat her, that too a much younger student. With that, bro puts his hand on her shoulder and says that it was tricky for a while, and he had fun while sparring with her. He informally talks to her and farms some aura, but then Tamara reminds him that she is his sensei. This calls for an awkward pause, but with the shy look on Tamara's face, it's safe to say that Wayne's Riz is unmatched. Everyone congratulates Wayne for what he has achieved, but he knows that he wants to tame Tamara as soon as possible. Luckily, his reputation has not been tarnished, so things are going slightly better than planned. After the training, classes resume for the rest of the day, and Laka has a fun time feeding her master afterwards in the school cafeteria. Wayne feels his standards have fallen after being imprisoned for so long, but anyway, he has become quite popular just after his first day. After all, he is surrounded all the time, which is something even the nobles rarely experience. A girl sitting next to him in class comments that it's no surprise, because he beat Tamara-sensei, who is one of the best in the country. The royal palace may get in touch with Wayne soon, but bro just wants to know what this girl wants to say. She says that she just wants to get closer to a celebrity in school, because she wants to brag about Wayne being her friend when he becomes even more popular in the future. She smiles at our hero and asks him to make her a part of his glamour. He can't even get angry at a sweet face like that, and we learn that her name is Miyu. Due to this, Wayne's fame grows even further, with students from other classes coming to see him too. When he thinks about it, this was something he really wanted. After all, being stuck in a dungeon for 18 years right after being reincarnated totally sucked. Due to his cheat skill, Wayne becomes immensely popular, especially amongst the girls, which is always a good thing on comic guzzlers. This is the kind of success he always wanted to enjoy, but there is one other matter he needs to consider. Laka comes in at this very moment, asking her lover boy to go home with her. At this instance, everyone leaves Wayne, because they look at the demon girl as a really dangerous person. After all, she did cut off the hand of her opponent on her very first day, so she is considered to be lethal. The only person who approaches him, even with Laka around, is Miyu. She even calls them a lovey-dovey couple, which is a bit annoying to Wayne. Laka says that she belongs to Wayne, so they are not in a relationship because that would mean they are equals. Miyu jokes that she will steal Wayne if Laka is not too careful, but this only makes her turn on psycho mode. Miyu quickly says sorry and leaves the scene, making Wayne wonder if she is smart or stupid. Anyway, Laka asks Wayne if they can go back home, and he considers her cute while she's behaving. Now, our hero tells Laka that she should be friends with other people, but she says that Wayne is all she needs. Bro can't take care of her all the time, and even tells her that he is going to get with other women in the future. After all, he is a total Chad and is not going to get bogged down by one woman. Laka is sad, But she admits that she will be fine if that is what Wayne wants. She just wishes to be loved by Wayne. But when he asks her what she will do if the other women want him more, she says she will chop them up. Laka clearly needs to hesitate, but she says that she won't chop off the face, pillows, or cake, because she knows that's what true men of culture love. Our hero doesn't see the point of continuing this chat, so he tells Laka to just do as he says and not harm anyone else. Laka agrees, and then it's time to go home, but the demon girl does not want to leave her master. Wayne figures he should be nice, so he pats her head to show some affection, which makes Laka quite happy. How are things going to turn out for our hero after all the incidents he has come across so far? Will Laka accept other women into his harem, even after Xeris? Maybe he can try his charm even further on curvy sensei babes like Tamara and Domina. Sadly, we have come to the end of the video right now, so we'll have to see you next time. Like, share, and subscribe if you want to find out what happens next. Let me know in the comments if you feel this Wayne is better than Bruce Wayne and want to see more of his story on the channel. Show some love to the video, and I'll cover the manga right till the final chapter because we need to keep going. Okay then, see you in the next one.